Hello, welcome, or welcome back. Before I pulled any tarot cards today, I decided to pull from one of my oracle decks to get the main themes for today's reading and go from there. And the first one that came out was romance. And then we had self-doubt and love. So it seems like it's going to be a love reading today. We'll see what tarot cards come out, but I'm going to shuffle those on camera today. I don't normally do that. I usually pull the tarot cards first and then start recording, but this is what we're doing today. So yeah, let's see where this goes. Whoa, that's so many cards. Okay, at the back of the deck we have strength. Now, I was not intending to take reversals today. If you're not familiar with tarot, the cards have different meanings when they are upright versus reversed. I had all of the cards facing upright in the deck, but the Hermit came out reversed, like it flipped over when it came out of the deck, so I'm going to keep it that way because that felt intentional. We also have the World reversed, and we have the Ace of Wands upright, and then a bunch of cards fell out on the floor. I don't know if we're going to take all of this. High Priest, which is also the High Priest in this deck is the Hierophant. The Nine of Stones, or the Nine of Pentacles. The Eight of Cups. The Five of Swords. And the Ace of Cups. I'm just arranging my cards here. Right off the bat, seeing the Five of Swords here, immediately I'm connecting it to this self-doubt card. I've talked about this before in other readings using this deck, how there are a few wands cards in this deck that depict the wand with a rose in the middle of it. And how that always makes me think of romance. It always makes me think of someone offering you their heart, or you offering someone else your heart. This is really interesting too, because the way I don't think very much about the way that I arrange the cards in front of me when they come out. But oftentimes once I do lay them all out, the arrangement makes sense. We have the Hermit reversed, and then right underneath the Hermit reversed, we have the Nine of Stones, which shows a hermit crab. And the Hermit being reversed makes me feel like you're coming out of your shell in some way, or trying to. Trying to, but maybe you're scared with this Five of Swords and the self-doubt card. This is a theme that's been coming up in a lot of these readings recently, it seems. Or maybe just one recent reading in particular, but disappointment is coming up, especially with the Eight of Cups here. And with the Five of Swords right next to it, and it being one of the cards that came out with the Eight of Cups, because all these cards down here, the High Priest, the Nine of Stones, the Eight of Cups, the Five of Swords, and the Ace of Cups, all fell out onto the floor together. The Ace of Cups and the Five of Swords together make me think fear of disappointment, which again is a theme that's come up recently in these readings. You're having to really push through a lot of self-doubt and fear at this time, particularly in love. And maybe part of this pushing through is this coming out of your shell. I get the sense that for a lot of people watching, you've been alone for a long time. You've been doing your own thing. And pursuing love, pursuing romance is kind of a new thing for you. It's unfamiliar. It feels a little bit scary and uncertain, and you're not really sure how to do it. With the Ace of Wands here and then the Eight of Cups underneath it, it feels to me like there's someone you want to offer your heart to. There is someone you want a new beginning with. But you're having a hard time making that leap. I feel like I need more cards. Four of Wands. Something fell out on the floor. We'll get that in a second. Another one fell out on the floor. And then we have the Ten of Stones. Interesting. And we have the Magician at the back of the deck now. Okay. Ten of Stones. Death in reverse. And the King of Swords. Before I started the reading, I was seeing 1111. And I wanted to say that 1111 might be a number that you're seeing a lot recently. And then the Four of Wands always makes me think 1111. The way it's depicted in this deck in particular doesn't evoke the 1111 imagery the way it normally does in like a Rider-Waite-Smith deck, but you can still see like the two wands here and the two wands here, like 1111. You know what I mean? So there's that. And we have the Ten of Stones. And the thing about the Ten of Stones in this deck is that the stones all have these smiley faces on them. Can we focus? My camera hates focusing on these cards. Hello. Okay, well, you're just gonna have to take my word for it, I guess. The stones all have smiley faces on them. It's really cute. And something I was thinking when I was looking at the Nine of Stones is potential for long-term happiness. And then the Ten of Stones comes out, which is the following card in the suit of stones or pentacles. And then all of the stones have smiley faces on them. This is feeling so familiar. I feel like I've done this reading before. Because I've done readings on this channel where it's a love reading, where the Death card has come out. Also, I believe the Four of Wands, the Ace of Wands, the Ace of Cups, the World. And the themes here are having been alone for a long time and wanting to pursue romance with someone for the first time in a really long time, and that posing a challenge. So it feels very familiar, and I'm finding myself almost not wanting to give the messages the way they're coming out because they feel so familiar. I'm like, I've done this already. But maybe there are people who need the message reiterated. So I'm just gonna go with it. You are manifesting this connection. Oh my God. We had the King of Swords come out, and then the Queen of Swords is right underneath the Magician, and the Wheel of Fortune again. I had the Wheel of Fortune behind the back of the deck card before, and now, oh my God. Okay. Whenever I see the Queen and King of any suit come out together, it feels like divine counterpart energy. I keep getting tripped up by how similar this feels to other readings. There is a love that you're manifesting, and I think there is a specific person you're manifesting to. And you really want to pursue things with this person, but you're scared, partly because it has been so long since you have done this. It feels like you're out of your element. And what I want to say with the Strength card, as well as the Hermit reversed, is you've been doing a really good job of slowly but surely getting out of your comfort zone. And I'm not saying you need to do anything drastic. Follow your intuition. Whatever your intuition is telling you, do that. If your intuition is saying take it slow, take baby steps toward this connection, that's what you need to be doing. Whatever it is your intuition is telling you, you are taking these steps. You are slowly but surely working your way out of your comfort zone in a way that seems like it's going to pay off. And to see the Four of Wands here and the Ace of Cups really feels like a connection that feels like coming home. I think whoever this person is that you are manifesting a connection with is someone that you feel inexplicably drawn to. You may not know them very well, but it almost feels like you have some sort of unseen connection with them. A past life connection, even, I want to say. With the High Priest here, which is the Hierophant in a traditional tarot deck, I'm not reading this the way that I normally do. There are a lot of cards in this deck in particular that I don't read the traditional way because the imagery is so unique in a lot of ways. And as I was getting accustomed to this deck when I first got it, I consulted the guidebook for a lot of my readings, and one of the key phrases that always sticks out in my mind when I pull the High Priest is spiritual connection. And I know that probably the intention for that phrase in the guidebook is connection to spirit, connection to the divine. But to see it come out in a love reading, what it makes me think of is you are connected with this person on a spiritual level. And if that's the case for you, you already know that, and that's something that you've been feeling. This feels fated. It feels, on one hand, inevitable. Like it just absolutely has to happen and nothing can stop it. But then there's also this self-doubt that often has you questioning, am I wrong? Is this all in my head? You're going through a really big, like, pretty intense internal transformation, internal shift throughout this process of moving toward connection with this person. You are shedding a lot. You're purging a lot. I want to say also you've probably been really emotional recently. You've probably been crying a lot. And that's for a reason. You are moving toward this connection that is what you've been manifesting probably for years at this point. And in order to fully align with it, there is a lot internally that you are letting go of, that you are healing. And again, you'll know if that's the case for you. You've probably been working through a lot internally. Maybe you've been doing a lot of journaling. Maybe you've been getting a lot out in therapy, if you're in therapy. You've probably been finding yourself getting to the root of a lot of things that have been marinating beneath the surface for a long time for you that you've just never quite been able to get at. But you're getting at them now, and it feels like a lot for one thing, but it also feels good. It feels like a relief. Like you're finally releasing things that you've been needing to let go of for so long. And it's in preparation for this connection. This is really beautiful. I just have to say that, like, once you find your way into this connection, no matter how long it takes, and I know that you may feel a little impatient. If this is a particular person that you are manifesting, like, you just want it to happen already. Like, it's probably been a tough process. It's been tough to be patient, I want to say. But once you do find yourself and find your way to this connection, if you've been healing a lot now, oh my God, you can't imagine how healing this connection is going to be once you're actually in it. And I have chills all over my body as I'm saying that. Oh yeah, they're still going. It's, wow. This connection is going to be so healing. And I don't think you can quite imagine how healing it's going to be just by hearing me say that. It's something you're just going to have to experience and find out as you go. But there is just so much healing that is possible in a connection that feels like coming home. With the Magician at the back of the deck, I know we've talked about manifesting this connection, manifesting this person in particular. I just have to reiterate that the Magician being at the back of the deck in particular, it does give a feeling of inevitability. Like, this connection that you're manifesting is bound to happen. And again, with the Queen of Swords and King of Swords, this feels like a connection with someone who can meet you on your level in every way possible. Particularly intellectually, this feels like somebody that you can have really rich, deep conversations with. And that's probably something that you've been craving in a love connection for a really long time. Possibly even in past relationships that you've been in. This might be something that you've never experienced on this level in any connection before. If you've been in relationships in the past, this is on a whole new level. This is something new to you entirely. It's interesting to me that we have the Death card and the World both coming out, and they're both in reverse. Because Death and the World are the two major arcana cards that always bring to mind the ending of a cycle. And they're both reversed, which in this context, I'm reading as the end of a cycle on an internal level. On an internal level, on an energetic level, you are closing out major cycles, major chapters. And like we talked about before, there are things that you are seeing come up to the surface during this process to be seen, to be witnessed, to be released, that you've just never been able to get at before. And that's a big part of these cycles ending. You're releasing everything you need to release to close this chapter and start a new one. And we have the Ace of Cups underneath the Death card in reverse. You are closing out these cycles in order to experience a beautiful, fulfilling new beginning in love. The majority of these cards here are so positive. And so when I see the Five of Swords and I see the Eight of Cups, I understand where they're coming from. I understand the self-doubt. I understand the fear. I understand the hesitation to move toward what you want because you're afraid of disappointment. Those feelings are very real, very understandable, very normal. And at the same time, everything else I'm seeing here is all the indication I need to tell you that you don't really have anything to worry about, which is not to invalidate your worries. Again, So understandable. But there is so much joy. There is such deep connection. There is such deep understanding in store for you that you have just never experienced on this level before. And probably hearing me say that makes you feel a little bit anxious. It probably feels too good to be true. And it makes you want to maybe hang on to the doubt and not let go of it entirely because you're afraid that it is too good to be true, and you don't want to let yourself fully believe that because you're afraid of being disappointed. While there is always a possibility for disappointment in any endeavor, I don't want you to be afraid of disappointment to the point where you don't pursue this, or you hide away from it, or you retreat back into your shell. You're really being called forward. You're being called out of your shell, and you can feel that. You know that that's the case. You know that's what you're being called toward. But I just need to remind you of that you're not meant to retreat into your shell right now. Listen to your intuition. Go where it guides you. And even if the journey to connection feels like it's taking a long time, and because it may be taking a long time, you probably often find yourself falling back into the doubt and fear of disappointment because you have so much time to think about it. No matter how long it takes you to find your way into this connection, just know that if it's meant to be, it will be. And you don't need to do anything drastic to make it happen. With what I'm seeing here, it seems like you're already doing everything you need to be doing to get there. You might not be seeing immediate results, but you are making progress. You might forget that sometimes, that you are making progress because you can't see the progress very clearly, but there is so much behind the scenes that you can't see, and you just have to trust that what you can't see right now is leading you to this connection. It's for your highest good. And you can trust the unseen right now. I want to get a couple more cards to close out this reading. We have the King of Stones, the Empress. Yeah, the Empress just tells me, like, reiterating the message of listening to your intuition. You can trust your intuition right now. And I was about to say something that I have said in another reading before, and then I hesitated because it felt too familiar, which is you can trust your desires. Whatever it is you want right now, you can trust that. We also have the Ten of Swords and the Tower. And if you're familiar with tarot, seeing the Tower probably raises your hackles a little bit. Don't worry. Seeing the Tower in this context is actually really encouraging to me. With everything else we have going on here, the Tower tells me that there is major change on its way into your life. And it's change that you are welcoming. It's change that you're looking for. Again, the ending of a chapter, probably the ending of a chapter of being on your own for a really long time. Entering into a romantic connection with someone for the first time in a long time is a major change. That's a major change. It's going to be something that you're going to need to adjust to. And that's okay. In fact, it's really beautiful because there's so much good coming out of it. The adjustment period is more than worth it. And with the Ten of Swords here, I just want to give you a hug because I know that this process, feeling all the feelings that you've been feeling, doing all of the overthinking that you've probably been doing, it has been exhausting. It's probably taken a lot out of you. And I just want you to know that once again, no matter how long this journey is into connection, that overthinking and that exhaustion will come to an end. I unknowingly, unintentionally placed it right over the Death card and the World card. The ending of a cycle, the ending of a chapter. This exhausting period is going to come to an end. And when it does, there is so much stability coming to replace it. With the Eight of Cups here and then the Ace of Cups coming right after, it really is like you're going from being alone feeling fearful of what might happen if you pursue this connection, and bearing all of that fear and doubt on your own. You're going from that to this absolutely blissfully happy union with another person. I just want you to look at these two cards. You're going from this to this. And it just makes me so happy. I feel the need to tell you, you're not going to be alone forever. You're not going to be alone forever. Those words just keep replaying on loop in my head. love is an inherent part of your story in this life. There's just no way it's going to pass you by. And I think that's where I'm going to leave the message for today. It felt like kind of a long one. I don't know how long I've been recording, but thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. I really hope that this gave you something that you needed. If it did, give this video a like and subscribe. And let me know how this resonated. I really want to know what your situation is and how this resonates for you. I love you. Thank you again for being here, and I hope to see you again very soon. Bye.